What's up, guys? Welcome back. I am home from England. Just under 2 weeks in England for roll hard and some BMX and just hanging out with good friends. First time in 3 years since I've been over. But we're home, back in the shop. I'm hoping to get the bend pack lift in this weekend. I'm not sure if that's going to happen with the immense amount of stuff I have to do to get caught up here in the shop. But as you can see, the second 1000 SP is still here in the shop. I literally went to get this the day before we left for England, and we had rain in the forecast while we were going to be gone. So rather than leaving it outside, I didn't have the time to get it put in my enclosed trailer. So I just rolled it in here, and it is shoehorned in here with the rest of the cars. So although I have so much to finish or to get caught up on here in the laser shop, I thought today, before the rain, which is impending in the next couple hours, unfortunately, I'd wheel the second SP outside and clean it up for the first time in over 38 years. I know the interior should probably have its own episode because that is just filthy, but it's almost perfectly time capsule. There's no wear and tear anywhere in the car. Headliner, seats, floors, dash, everything's there. But what else I want to do in this episode is go through the trunk. Most everything in the trunk are parts of the car that came off of it when he started the restoration in the early 80s. Basically trim, the mirror, lights, the grills, which I thought I would never find for the 60. Super rare parts. As I mentioned, back when I even first picked the 60 up, there's really only about 10 to 12 known to exist in all of North America. So the fact that there's two in here is pretty wild. So parts are just unobtainium, super rare to find. So I'm really looking forward, probably in the next episode, the next one you guys will see after this, in the next couple of days, I'm going to be heading back up to Nashville, Tennessee, to get all the parts out of his mother's garage. All the parts, the engines, the transmissions, all the new old stock parts. Gonna wheel this thing outside, maybe give it a solid pressure wash. I've got a few ideas what I want to do with these cars. I've kind of talked about them a little bit, but while I was in England, especially while I was at Roll Hard at Bicester Heritage, seeing everybody's projects, I really got some ideas. I mentioned in the last SP episode that the 63 might be the contender to sell as a potential restoration candidate with parts enough to restore it and whatever I had for spare parts to put into my 60, which I am going to modify pretty heavily. This is going to be body dropped on air on aftermarket wheels, and that's the whole idea for this whole thing. But the more I got thinking about, well, what if I don't sell this one and do two separate builds, two totally different builds? But put in the comments what you guys think or what you guys would do with two of these. I'm thinking just as it is, or put it in primer and do a 1960s period correct outlaw build out of it. So keep it 3-cylinder, keep it 2-stroke, which is what I want to do in the 60 as well. But keep, steel wheels, white wall tires, lower it down a little bit, but keep it all basically factory and build a true Auto Union outlaw Canyon Carver car out of it. The good thing is doing an outlaw build on this will keep it as a full restoration candidate forever because it'll be stock basically. It'll all be stock and it'll be on the road, it'll be running, it'll be driving, and down the road it'll be a perfect restoration candidate for someone with the deep pockets to go all the way with it. Push the 700 back towards the back wall a little bit to give me a little bit more working space in here. And I'll stack everything in the trunk. We'll get everything laid out and we'll take a look at what we got. As I mentioned earlier, I think the day after tomorrow, I'm going to make the 2-hour haul back up to Nashville to get all of the parts that came with this purchase. Basically, the reason why I made this purchase. I mean, having a second one of these is pretty incredible. But that being said, before I go up to Nashville. I want to know what I'm missing so I'll know what to look for when I get back up there. Right here is massive. Oh boy. Still has the pins on either side. It is awfully corroded. Laying face down in the middle of all this muck for 38 years was probably the absolute worst place for it to go. But the one good thing is, the one on the 60 is in incredible shape. So this one could always live on this boot lid and fit with the aesthetic much more than this one would. So this right here is a massive find. With only a few of these cars known to exist in the country, this is a specific, as far as I know, specific 1000 SP trunk emblem. So I got the top part of the trunk all cleaned out, vacuumed out as well. There was tons of just mouse-chewed newspaper and fabric. The actual top cover for the trunk was fabric, and unfortunately the mice had just eaten almost half of that. All right, so as you can see, this wood floor is just falling apart. But I got a peek in there without sifting around physically, and I found something in the back that blows my mind. Look at how crazy this is. This has been under here since the 1960s. Oh, it's in much better shape than the other one. It's got a kink at the top. Wow. So cool. This is so rad. Well, here's the parts lot from inside the SP. Everything from the front to back, the hood scoop screen, the grill trim and the grills themselves, the front bumperettes or the bumpers themselves for each side of the front. Those are in great condition. Only one hubcap, unfortunately, a couple vintage Tennessee plates. The taillights, which is huge. And as I mentioned, they're a flat taillight. They're a little bit different than the conical ones on the back of my 60. The rear marker lights, which is huge. Those will mount underneath the taillights. Got a box full of hardware and all sorts of other little pieces. Stuff that I'm not going to throw out right now just in case anything comes to light that I need that's in this box. Also in the trunk was this heavily chewed up newspaper, and I was hoping to find any page that was left that had some sort of year or date on it to just kind of know what year this was from. The print looks pretty vintage, and sure enough, down here on the bottom was clippable coupons, and on these clippable coupons was an expiry date, and that expiry date is Saturday, June 17th, 1967. Pretty wild. It's really too bad that the mice have just gone to work on that thing and there's nothing left, but it would have been cool to find a 1967 newspaper in the trunk of a 1963 German auto union. Some stuff. I mean, the car's rare, so any stuff is good stuff. And the cream of the crop for the pull in the car is the rear trunk lid Auto Union 4 Rings badge. That is massive. I think it's a pretty good set of parts. Got a decent amount to put the car back to what it should look like. A few things that I still need to look for in the next couple of days when I go up to get the remaining parts. That will be a really exciting episode in my opinion. I'm really stoked to get into that garage and pull all that stuff out, ultimately get everything here and lay it out and see what exactly I paid for in this whole deal and what I can hopefully use in the 60 to get that thing running and really start on this project. This is going to be the first one, and then we'll see what happens with the second SP. Going to end the video there. I will see you guys in the next episode when I am yet again hauling super rare 1000 SP Auto Union parts home here to the shop.